So you've brought a camel, or you're working with the camel, and you thought it was more trained than possibly what it is. Is there any hope? Well, that's what we'll be answering in today's Camel Q&A.
This is the Camel Connection podcast.
Welcome to our weekly Camel Q&A.
This is where you ask a camel question and we answer it.
I'm Tara.
And I'm Russell. And together, with other camel experts, we answer your camel questions. Well, hello. Welcome back
to another Q&A.
We've got one that's actually really close to my heart.
Is it?
Yeah,
why is that?
It is. We've got a good question that we will answer today. Why is that?
Well, should I tell the question first and then you can answer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go for it.
Right. So the question is from Annie, and she says, we have an aggressive camel that we are working with. He was supposed to be trained and tame, but it doesn't appear that she is. And she asks, is there any hope?
Yeah, great question. And look, I've got to admit it. I mean, we've been in that boat too. All right, well, we've bought sort of off the shelf.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, off the shelf a camel that was said, trained and tamed and all that sort of thing. And well, actually 3 camels. Actually, probably more. But anyway, made the mistake of not testing out the camel, beforehand. Made the mistake of just accepting the word of the seller. And believe it or not, actually, I'll tell you about this one particular camel. Took it out to the bush, ready for a safari, thinking, oh, it's trained. Fantastic. Here we go, straight away.
Yep, start earning its keep, so to speak.
Yeah. And the day before all the customers were to arrive for the safari, went to put on the saddle. And this camel carried on a real treat. Straight away, fear. The eyes were wider than dinner plates.
She didn't know what was going on.
And carrying on and jumping around and all sorts of things. And I thought, no, what am I going to do here? Because, of course, you can't leave one camel by itself.
No.
That's a golden rule. So I basically had to do a quick training session on it during that day so that I could get a spider or harness onto it without the saddle. Yeah. And the camel just trailed along with the other camels. And of course I had to reorganise bags and swags and all sorts of stuff, so the other camels had to take the load.
It's been a couple of years now and we're still... She's
saddles
on her, but she's still, she's still scared.
Yeah.
But it's a really, I think one thing everyone should remember who's listening is that everyone has a different idea of what a trained anything is.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, for instance, someone's idea of health food could be different to somebody else's idea of health food. Mine could be eating kale 5 times a week. Russell's could be eating Vegemite on toast 5 times a week,
For our American friends who are listening, Vegemite's okay if it's smeared on thinly.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Okay, so everyone has different levels of training. And because there's no formal anything in the camel world.
There's no standard.
There's no standard. In the horse world, at least you've actually got things like, well, I've got certified training in XYZ, or I've done the Pat Pirelli, I'm a Pat Pirelli trainer, or I'm this, you've got certain standards. Yeah. There are no standards in the camel world, which makes a buyer's nightmare, really, because... and here's the other thing. You could go and just say you're going to visit a camel that you want to buy. And you said to the owner, can you show me what the camel can do? The owner is showing you what the camel can do. The owner has built a bond and a trust with the camel. The owner has a certain way that he or she presents themselves to the camel. So the camel might be doing things, and then you get the camel home and the camel's doing absolutely nothing for you. These are some things that you really need to watch out on. But, okay, there is absolute hope. Absolutely. Actually, I was thinking about this question, and I think it's better when these situations arrive. Okay, you've brought a trained camel. You thought it was trained. It turns out it's not. I mean, if we look at our situation with the female camel that you mentioned before, it's turned out so much better for her relationship with us because we have to start at foundation level again. And it's a bit new to her and it's a little bit confusing because she's got this idea of what a human already is in her head. But we can actually set the record straight and go, this is who we are. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to work as a partnership and, we're here to bond and connect with you. So I actually think this is a prime position to be in. If you are in this position where you thought you had a trained camel and it turns out it's not so much.
Yeah, and look, I mean, if you have experience and, you've actually got camels, etc., you've worked with them before, you've done training yourself, and you know what you're doing, well, ask the owner of the camel that you're thinking of purchasing, okay, do you mind if I have a little bit of a play with the camel? And the owner's response will give you some sort of indication.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah, if they say, yeah, no problem.
Oh, no, the wind's not going the right direction today. It's not not appropriate.
You'll find out. Use your intuition. Okay. Yeah. But look, I mean, there is an actual saying that I remember one elderly gentleman who is still working camels and he's up near his 90s, I think, now. But he actually once said to me, all camels will come good. All right, eventually all camels will come good. And that is, of course,
under
with
right
training, with bonding and with, the work that you put in. Okay, so your camel that you've purchased, and it seems like it's angry and aggressive and all that sort of stuff, let me tell you this, that very, very few camels, look, the percentage is so small that, I don't think they could even put a number on it, but very, very few camels are actually aggressive by nature. Most of the time it's fear. And once you recognise that, it's fear, that what is it that the camel's fearful of? Okay, maybe you'll never find out where that fear originated from or how it came about. But
PTSD.
let me tell you, I can almost guarantee you it is fear that the camel is experiencing. And your job as the cameleer, in this case, is to remove the sources of fear, whatever they may well be, all right? And it might be of people, all right, because of, whatever experiences it's had of people. So I'm not saying remove yourself there, but what I'm saying is that here's your opportunity to turn this camel around in time to be able to love people again.
Yeah.
All right, here's your opportunity. And, of course, that comes back to your protocols and your training, your presentation to the camel, and the amount of love that you have with your camel. If you like your camel, you'll do this.
And something interesting also is that the camel could just be confused. I mean, if it's swapped ownership, it's likely that it's confused, which a so-called aggressive behaviour will actually come to the surface because it's like, well, this is not how I'm used to being asked. Even if it's a difference of tone, camels love consistency. And if there's a difference in tone or the way things are being asked of it, it will soon go like almost like in a freeze kind of defensive mode, like what the hell, like I'm not used to this, what's going on, blah blah blah. So it could be actually a confusion thing as well. And
don't forget, time is a great healer, and just spending time with your camel. I'm not saying that don't train your camel, but don't make every session that you spend with your camel a training session. Even just simply spending time with your camel. If you've got a set of yards or, the paddock or something like that, just spending time with your camel it pays dividends in the long term. It really does.
Absolutely.
If your camel's lunging towards you to bite and all that sort of stuff, don't put yourself in that position.
It sounds like this is going to take some time, and as much as you thought you brought a trained camel and maybe you were willing to put it straight into a commercial operation, it's just not going to happen as soon as you thought. Like us with this camel that we brought, we're like, right, well, we're going to put in the trekking operation right away, and it's taken almost a year, 2 years, 2 years to get it. Not consistently because we only did it in the winter, but it's taken a while. To gain her trust. She has some sort of memory of humans and absolute fear of the saddle going on her. We can only assume why, but to her it's real. The fear is absolutely real. So working with that fear and going, okay, I get that you have fear, so we're going to work through this gently and calmly, consistently, still introducing the saddle or still, introducing commands or whatever it is, just to get that familiarization to the camel that we're actually okay. This is the new consistency. There's not going to be any hitting. There's not going to be any, any other violent behavior or, whatever it is. That's what they're looking for, a new way of being, really.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a long-term project.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking then, we don't know your camel situation, okay? I do know that, look, a lot of people, they think, oh, well, I've trained, horses, dogs, whatever it might be. Surely I can train a camel. They get a camel, and then they find out that, the camel reacts in fairly uncertain ways to what they're accustomed to and used to. And I know myself, look, I get frustrated, okay? And but I've also learnt over the years that when I start getting frustrated, especially with camels, especially if it's a hot day and I get hot and frustrated, I've got to walk away and come back when I've had a cold drink or something like that and feeling much better.
Camels do not respond to...
But some people don't do that, and that's when their frustrations can come out onto the camel. And, of course, all you're doing there is vindicating the camel's fear.
Yeah, you're saying to it, hey, look, this is a real thing. You ought to be scared.
Yeah.
Start being aggressive.
Well, we're not saying that this is what you do, but, this is perhaps where your camels come from or, whatever, okay? It's, these are just, examples, random thoughts. So, it really is a matter of, sort of re-educating. And I'm thinking to myself just before when thinking about answering this question is post-trauma stress.
Post-traumatic stress disorder?
That's it, yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah. I reckon it's there, definitely, with camels as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
I have a lot to say on that, actually, about animals and how they deal with it, which is really interesting. And something that's, actual studies that have been done on animals and how they actually don't get a lot of PTSD, but the studies that had been shown of what wild animals do, camels don't seem to do so much, which is really interesting. Anyway, another episode.
Yeah.
I love that sort of, I love the psychology side of things. So, but also the other side of this thing too is a lot of people assume that buying a trained camel or an older camel is in their best interest because the camel's more experienced, the camel's had more handling and training. Yeah. And let us just say now...
And in certain circumstances, that would be true.
Yeah, except for with all our clients that have done that and even us that have done that, it's not been true.
No, but
so it's a very low percentage.
I actually have done it once.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think that was luck.
It was really exceptional. But then again, the owner allowed me to have a play with the camel too.
Yeah.
And you knew what I liked that camel too. That was another big thing.
Yeah. But I think that's the misconception that we see a lot is because a camel's older and experienced that it's going to be less of a challenge, and in most cases, it's actually more of a challenge. And that's why we encourage a lot of our clients to get a camel aged between 3 and 5 sort of thing, and we sell the younger camels because you can grow up with that camel. Literally, you're growing up with that camel, you're learning with that camel, you have created this incredible connection and bond. Not to say that you should be hard on yourself if you already have an older camel, absolutely not, because everything is figure-outable. I was going to say, what do you say? Everything is recoverable. Yes, so, but that just gives you an idea that if you are not a camel owner, think about getting a younger camel. I'm not talking a baby camel per se. I'm talking, a camel that's had some herd interactions, so it knows that it's a camel and who it is and all that sort of stuff, and, go from there.
And look, get back to the training. Okay, get back to the training. Now, look, if you haven't done our training, then we actually go through this sort of thing.
This is foundational training.
And we're doing it with all our camels that we get, and especially, we had that experience of, buying the inverted commas, a trained camel, and realised it wasn't, and went back to our training. And we've tried to make it as freely available as possible. Of course, we do the clinics, we do in-house training as well. But don't forget, we've also got the online stuff, which is the training as well,
which is accessible to everybody on the planet because it's worldwide.
It's
so
online. Perhaps for 40 days, instead of buying your coffee and muffin at work for your morning tea break, take a coffee bag and make your muffins at home or whatever.
Yeah, but I suppose if we work it out for $1 a day,
that's sort of what we're working at. It's we've made it as inexpensive as what we possibly can to get the message out.
It's just like building a house. If the foundations aren't right, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah.
You're going to have some big challenges come up. So that's why we talk about it so much, that foundational training is absolutely paramount. And if you've got this older camel and it's going backwards, so to speak, start from the start.
Absolutely.
And if you've got the start, you can always go back to the start again. If things regress, you can go back again. But the thing with camels is there's no such thing as regression. They kind of go. They might appear to be going backwards, but in fact they're just at a maturity level that they're just it's like a growth spurt. About to go to the next level again.
What I would suggest in this case, honestly, is to, if you haven't done so already, get a hold of our training course and start from the beginning. Okay, now why I say this and why I say this is important, especially if you've bought this camel and you feel that it's aggressive, etc., is because you're going to set the standard.
And you need to feel safe too.
You're going to set the procedures, okay, with that camel. You're going to set the routines that the camel needs. And camels love routine. Camels love to know what's coming next. They like to know where they're up to. And our training course allows that to happen, on a step-by-step progressional, method.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is what I'm saying. It really will come down to your training, and it will come down to your time that you put into that camel, and the concern that you put into that camel. But rest assured, it will come good.
Yeah.
Rest assured, all in time.
Well, we've gone a little bit over our 15 minutes, but I think we had to say what we needed to say.
It was a big one because a lot of people would be in this position.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, thank you so much for listening, guys. Don't forget, if you have a camel question, head over to our website right now so you don't forget it, and go and click on camelconnection.com, do that, and then click on the question box so that you can get your question answered. That'd be great.
Fantastic,
okay, guys. See you on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye. If you found this Camel Q&A helpful, please let us know. Leave a review wherever you're listening from.
Do you have a camel question for us? Head over to camelconnection.com to ask your camel question now.